We'll go ahead and call the county commission meeting to order, although it be a little late. First thing we have tonight is the invocation by Commissioner Jones and the pledge by Commissioner Little. Please stand.
Shall we pray? Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the blessings that you have given us, and we thank you for the opportunity to live in this great country of ours. And we at this time want to appreciate all the men and women of service that are protecting and fighting for our freedoms. Also, as county commissioners, we ask that you be with us tonight as we deliberate county business, and may we do what is in the best interest of the residents of this county. Be with us always. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item on the agenda is roll call. Do you think it's working?
Hopefully that portion is working.
So if you're here, push your present button.
Okay, it was another trick question, so it's not working at all.
The button works.
Yeah, I can't get the roll call. Start voting now, this one work.
I have 20 present and 4 absent.
It's going to take you.
Okay, it's working now.
Good. Okay. Good.
All right. Isn't technology very powerful?
All right.
It doesn't tally those.
Yeah. And Commissioner Brockman will be here a little later.
Okay.
Commissioner Hayes is out of town, and Commissioner Bethard is also out. So.
Commissioner Bethard is absent. And Commissioner Hawkins is absent.
Oh, okay. All right. Very good. So we have 20 present. Next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes of the September 12th, 2011 County Commission meeting. Copies were mailed to each of you. I'll entertain a motion for that.
So moved.
Commissioner Smith and Commissioner Wilson the second. All in favor as submitted?
Aye.
Opposed? And they pass unanimously. Introduction and acceptance of the Highway Commission minutes. They were mailed to you. I'll entertain a motion.
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Little and Cook. All in favor of the Highway Commission minutes as presented?
Aye.
Opposed? And they pass unanimously. Do we have such? Well, while we've got a break, I'd like to thank Officer Hutchinson and Officer Euler for being here in the back. Also, we've got a special guest tonight, Samuel Jacobs. And I don't see Samuel right now. Samuel, if you'll stand, he's a scout, and appreciate you coming here, and he's with his mom. And thanks for coming, and hope you learn a lot. Always be prepared. That's right. So, we have no citizens communications, so we'll move on. Communications and messages. I just want to call to your attention, Commissioner Hayes had sent each of us a letter. It was in your packet. She's sorry she can't be here, but she's had a family reunion planned for a year, I believe, so just happened to fall at this time. And I think in all her years of service, this is only the second or third time she's missed, so that's quite impressive too. Also, we've got, want to remind everybody, according to email sent earlier this year, the TCSA Annual Fall Conference is scheduled for October 26th through the 28th at Embassy Suites in Murfreesboro. TDOT Commissioner John Schroer is scheduled to speak. So I guess get with the mayor's office if you'd like to go to that. And be no further questions, we will go into reports of county offices. County Mayor Rogers Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If I could have David Coleman to come up and give us a snapshot of the budget. Also, while he's here, in your packet, we've been asked in a very strong way to be sure that we touch on the letter from the comptroller of the state of Tennessee, and so we'll be David will be touching on that also. David.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, being a little early in the month, we do not have the monthly budget report that we normally give you. We were not totally closed out, so we'll catch you up next month on that. We did get the early report from the Cool Springs Conference Center that we presented to you last month, so we're kind of ahead of the game on that. So the main thing we have for you tonight that is our normal report is the privilege tax report for September, and it is up a little bit. If you look at the chart that we supply you each month, it's the best year in the last 4 years for September. Still a little bit behind if you go back to 07, 08, but it's certainly what we like to see, and we hope that trend will continue. But the best month in September in the last 4 years. The letter that the mayor made reference to, and I'm not sure if this is something new or it's just something they've made us aware of, but if you remember in the July meeting, you passed a resolution authorizing a tax anticipation note for the schools just for the cash flow until the property tax start coming in November, December, and January. So as part of that, we have to get the approval from the state to issue that note. This letter represents their approval of that, and I'll just point out two or three things to you. On the front page, it does say that now we are required to provide you with a copy of their approval, so we've done that. That's in your packet. At the bottom of the letter on the front page under approval, it shows that it was approved for an amount up to not to exceed $15 million, and that's what you approved in July. And then on the second page, something we always do, but just to make sure that you understand that, and you will see this in the debt policy also, the last bullet point says the county shall repay the tax anticipation note no later than June the 30th of 2012. We've always done that. That's always been a requirement that those notes must be paid before the end of the fiscal year, and normally we repay those, the school does, about February or March, so that will be done at the appropriate time. Mr. Chairman, be happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you, Mr. Coleman. Anyone have a question, Mr. Coleman? Yeah, I see none. I'll entertain a motion to accept this letter into the minutes. I need a motion and second.
Second.
Commissioner Barnwell and Commissioner Smith. All in favor of accepting this into the minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you. Mayor?
Mr. Chairman, if there's any other questions, I'll address it. You got a very lengthy agenda tonight.
Any questions for the mayor? I see none, but I wouldn't go far. Thank you. Next, Dr. Mike Looney, Director of Schools.
Good evening. Our schools are doing exceedingly well. We're vibrant and strong. Teachers are busy teaching, students are busy learning. There are no anomalies in the district at this point in time. Be glad to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions for Dr. Looney? Commissioner Danner?
Can you give us a quick update on the Clovercroft crosswalk?
Yes, ma'am. We had a traffic engineer do a study on whether or not there should be a crosswalk site. They've determined that there should be, and so we'll be installing it in the near future.
Thank you very much. And then the second thing is, I asked at the last meeting for enrollment numbers by school, by grade, and my understanding from my school board rep is that you had agreed to put them up on the website.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
have not seen them. Tell me when those are up.
Well, they're on the website. If you go to the schools tab under enrollment, that information is provided for you.
Thank you very much.
Follow up.
Raise your hand.
Commissioner Langston?
My question was the same as previous commissioner. I had asked in August, I think, the enrollment at 3 schools, and we ended to discuss it at September meeting. And so we can find those figures
Yes, sir. It's
on
on
the
the
website.
Williamson
I'm
County
concerned
Schools
about,
website.
Ravenwood, Centennial, and Summit. We can find
Well,
those
I
on
can
the
give you a brief summary, but the information is available on the website. Ravenwood's enrollment is a little bit less than we expected. Summit High School's enrollment is higher than expected, and Centennial's enrollment is higher than expected.
Commissioner Ryan?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dr. Looney, there's been a fair amount of media surrounding Pinewood and the possibility of using it for a Chinese language center. Can you update us a little bit more as far as where we stand with that, what the plans are with Pinewood if it doesn't go this direction? Is it with the University of Memphis, is that my understanding?
Yes, sir. We had some visitors from the Confucius Institute at the University of Memphis. The Board of Education has not decided what to do with that facility at this point in time, so I don't think I'd be in a position to discuss it.
Okay. And how does it look though with this Chinese center? Is it promising, or is it just too operating?
Well, once again, I don't want to get ahead of the Board of Education. We have our first work session on Thursday to discuss those kinds of issues, so you'll just permit me to delay the answer until after I've met with the board.
Fair enough.
Commissioner Cook?
Has there been an influx of students after September, and after we had the holiday?
The answer is yes, ma'am. We've had a small increase, not as many as we typically see, but we have had it.
Thank you.
Commissioner Ricky Jones?
Commissioner Ryan asked my question
Okay.
regarding Pinewood.
Commissioner Wilson?
I just had a quick question. The last time when you were absent because of the meeting, I had asked about could we possibly do a study on any crosswalks where needed, for instance, Page Middle and Page High School. Did they address that, or did they just kind of go school by school?
We did the one traffic study at Clovercroft because we had the money that related to construction. If the county commission's desire is to have a traffic study at all schools, then we'll need to address the funding associated.
Right. I basically had just mentioned the ones that had the site distance problem, not necessarily every school, but okay. Thank you.
Follow up?
Just a quick
Commissioner Danner?
follow-up. What was the finish date for the crosswalk at Clovercroft?
I don't have a finish date. I do believe that they'll get started within the next 10 days.
Any further questions? I see none. Thank you, Dr. Looney.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Any other reports from county offices? I see none. We'll move on. There's no elections and appointments. The consent agenda is in your packet. I'll entertain a motion. Commissioner Wilson, the motion. Commissioner Little, the second. All in favor of the consent agenda as presented? Is that on the machine? Okay, we'll try a vote. If you're in favor, push the yes button. Opposed, your no button. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote. Ms. Anderson.
20 yes, 1 abstain.
And it passes. All right, moving on to appropriations.
Got the notaries.
Notaries are on the consent.
Notaries are on the consent.
Oh.
Let's see here. All right, appropriations. Resolution 10-11-10, resolution amending the 2011-12 General Sessions DUI Court budget by $87,475, revenues to come from federal grant funds.
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Hester, Commissioner Cook's a second. Explanation, Commissioner Hester.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is an appropriation from federal grant funds going to our General Sessions Court for our DUI, and it is, the budget amount is there, $87,475. And on this, actually, I need to amend the accounting number, please, sir.
All right.
So the accounting number that you have in front of you is from expenditures 101.53300.309. And that needs to be amended to 101.53300.309.001. This
Proper-
was
Proper motion, Commissioner Barnwell, the second. Continue, Commissioner Hester.
I'm sorry, this was it has to be amended because we didn't receive it in time for it to be included in the packet.
Okay. The amendment's on the board. If there's any discussion on the amendment, I see none. If you're ready to vote on the amendment, push your yes button. If you're opposed, your no button. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
21 yes.
Passes unanimously. Now back to the original resolution as amended. Any further discussion on that as amended? I see none. On the machine, Linda? Ready to vote? If you're in favor, push your yes button. Opposed, your no button. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote. Ms. Anderson.
21 yes.
Resolution passes. Resolution 10-11-11, resolution amending the 2011-12 General Sessions DUI Court budget by $59,850, revenues to come from state grant funds. Commissioner Hester.
Move for approval.
Second.
Mr. Jones, the second. Explanation, Commissioner Hester.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is also a grant that goes to our General Sessions Court for the DUI, driving under the influence, and this comes from the Governor's Alcohol Countermeasures Highway Safety Project. We've had a recent DUI graduation that I understand was very well received. This grant funding does not require matching funds from the county. And if I may add that we do need to amend the amount that you have in your packet from $59,850 to $59,992.10 to reflect the actual amount of the grant.
Second.
Commissioner Barnwell, the second. It's on the machine. Are we ready to vote? If you're in favor of to amend Resolution 10-11-11, push the yes button. Opposed, your no button. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
21 yes.
The amendment passes. Now we're back to the resolution as amended. Got it on the machine. We're ready to vote. All in favor of Resolution 10-11-11, push the yes button. Opposed, your no button. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
21 yes.
Resolution passes unanimously. Resolution 10-11-12, resolution appropriating and amending the 2011-12 animal control budget by $1,500 for the provision of a part-time employee, revenues to come from donations.
Move for approval.
Move for approval.
Commissioner Hancock, Commissioner Jones, the second. Commissioner Bain, can you talk to this, or
Yeah.
on that donation from animal control? Commissioner Hayes signed it, but she's not here.
Yeah, it's a donation that will be used, for a temporary employee, a part-time employee, and it is a donation. They passed the budget committee 5-0.
All right, and HR was 5-0 also.
Public health was 5-0 as well.
Okay. Any discussion on 10, 11, 12? I see none. You ready to vote? If you're in favor, push the yes button. Opposed, your no button. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
21 yes.
Resolution passes. Resolution 10, 11, 15. Resolution appropriating and amending the 2011-2012 Sheriff's Office budget by $11,065, revenues to come from unappropriated county general funds. Commissioner Williams?
Move for approval.
Second. Mr. Jones, the second. Law Enforcement Committee?
6-4-0 again.
Budget Committee?
5-4-0 again.
Explanation, Commissioner Williams.
This is for a grant from the Department of Justice for Bulletproof Vest, and the money's been received in the amount of $11,065.
All right. Any discussion? I see none. You ready to vote? All in favor of 10, 11, 15, push the yes button. Opposed, your no button. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
22 yes.
Resolution passes. Resolution 10, 11, 19. Resolution appropriating and amending the 2011-12 Ag Expo Park budget by $2,940.06. Revenues to come from unappropriated county general funds. Commissioner Bain?
Yes, this is money that the Nashville Kennel Club made available to the Ag Park, and we didn't spend it all, and we're reallocating it to be used to put in electrical utilities. Is that correct, Kenny? Okay. Move for approval.
Yeah. Proper motion. Mr. Chalfant, the second. Okay, we've got the explanation. Budget Committee?
5-4-0 again.
All right. Any discussion on this resolution? I see none. You ready to vote? All in favor of Resolution 10, 11, 19? In favor, push the yes button. Opposed, your no button. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
22 yes.
Resolution passes. Resolution authorizing the transfer of $7,000 between major categories to provide funding for the Board of Equalization. Commissioner Bain?
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Williams, the second. Budget Committee?
5-4-0 again.
Explanation, Commissioner Bain.
Mayor, would you like to explain this one? You're probably a little more articulate on this one than I am.
We had a lot of appeals. We had to call the people back in for 30 days. We need to pay them. Is that short enough?
That's good. That's good. Much better than I could have done.
Any discussion? I see none. You ready to vote? Resolution 10, 11, 21. If you're in favor, push the yes button. Opposed, your no button. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
22 yes.
Resolution passes. Resolution 10, 11, 22. Resolution appropriating and amending the 2011-12 County Clerk's budget by $10,000. Revenues to come from reserve account. Commissioner Bain?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Hancock, the second. Budget Committee?
5-4-0 again.
All right, explanation?
This is something that is done a couple of times a year where the various departments take their funding. This comes from member fees, and they take it out periodically for projects.
All right. Any discussion? I see none. You ready to vote? All in favor, push the yes button. Opposed, your no button. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
22 yes.
Resolution passes. Resolution 101123, resolution appropriating and amending the 2011-12 Register of Deeds budget by $12,000, revenues to come from document recording fees. Commissioner Bain?
So moved.
Second.
This
Commissioner
is
Hancock. Okay, Budget Committee?
540 again.
All right, explanation.
This is the same thing as the last one. This is the county clerk's office, and they're pulling out some money for equipment.
Okay. Any discussion? I see none. You ready to vote? 101123. In favor, push the yes button. Opposed, your no button. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
22 yes.
Resolution passes. Resolution 101124, resolution appropriating and amending the 2011-12 miscellaneous budget by $60,000, revenues to come from unappropriated county general funds. Commissioner Bain?
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Little, the second. Budget Committee report?
540 again.
Explanation, Tom.
Okay, this is the resolution authorizing a contract between the interchange justification study that we approved, the commission approved several months ago, and this is our portion, which we were not going to pay until the other participants paid their portion, and that's what this is.
Okay. Any discussion? Commissioner Dan?
What came from the study? So we paid for the study, and what do we get from it?
The study has been approved by this body last year to do an interchange justification site look at. Is required in the event that there's a drop off in the interstate in between Spring Hill and Thompson Station. Our commitment that you all voted for was $20,000 from the county side. The remaining money came from the other two municipalities. That study has not been completed, and it's about a 12 to 15-month window. You must have a study done anytime you're dealing with the highway interstate system, and then it eventually is put on the road list that comes from under the MPO to see how the traffic flows, what roads that affects the community, et cetera, et cetera. But it will be some time before that study's actually finished up, Commissioner. What you're voting on here tonight is we've received all of the money, and so we gave, in order for us to release that money, you have to say vote.
Any other discussion? I see none. You ready to vote? Resolution 101124. If you're in favor, push the yes button. Opposed, your no button. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
22 yes.
Resolution passes. Resolution 101127. Resolution appropriating and amending the 2011-12 capital projects budget by $250,000. Revenues to come from county general undesignated fund balance. Commissioner Davis?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Williams, the second. Wastewater Authority, 4-4, 0 against, as amended. Let me back up. Wastewater Authority, 4-4, 0 against. Budget Committee, Commissioner Bain?
540 again.
All right. Explanation, Commissioner Davis?
This is part of the Grassland Sewer Project, which was originally approved by this body way back in 2004. The history of that goes way back before then. The good news is the lines are in the ground. People are hooking on. All we got to do is finish it up now. This is confirmation is what I call it.
All right. Commissioner Williams, you want to add anything?
Well, I think the cost actually came in lower than what
Yes,
they
it did.
anticipated, and they're not going to have to issue the bond. That's what this money is asking for.
Yeah. So, all right. Any discussion?
Here's it.
Commissioner Herbert?
I just wanted to make a comment. I know this has a long history way before I got here. And I'm sure a lot of people are really happy for this, but I did run into a gentleman today that was very unhappy because he's having to pay for it and he's not hooking up to it. And he just wanted his voice heard, so I did want to make that comment. That, you know, I know it's great for the ones that need it, but the others that are having to pay for it don't need it, aren't too happy.
And if I may make a comment, he may not need it today, but when he does a year from now, 5 years from now, he's going to be very thankful he's got it. So, you ready to vote? Resolution 101127. In favor, push the yes button. Opposed, your no button.
Is there an amendment?
Yeah.
We're voting on the amendment, right?
Yeah, no, we're not. It's not amending. We're going to disregard the amendment in there. Yeah. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
22 yes.
Resolution passes. Resolution 1011-8, resolution to express support for legislation that would amend Title 8, Chapter 44 to subject governing bodies to the same Open Meeting Act that the General Assembly is subject to under TCA 3-1-118. Commissioner Barnwell.
Move for approval.
Second.
Mr. Williams, the second. Rules Committee.
I'm not on it, but it was 5-0.
5-0. Explanation, Commissioner Barnwell.
Yes, this is a resolution we're putting forward to have our representatives downtown take forward through the Assembly to subject the local elected officials to the same open meeting laws that the state assemblymen and women are subject to. This is a statewide initiative. I've heard from Obion County and from Memphis that they've passed this resolution to go forward. We're trying to get as many as we can within the different counties of the state to have strength in numbers, and I think it's positive, and I'm hearing positive results from our guys downtown, thinking that they can potentially get this through.
All right. Anybody else want to speak to it? I see none. You ready to vote? If you're in favor of 1011-8, push the yes button. Opposed, your no button. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
22 yes.
Resolution passes unanimously. Resolution 1011-13, resolution to update fire service districts in Williamson County. Commissioner Williams.
Move for approval.
Commissioner Wilson, the second. Law Enforcement Committee.
6-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Williams.
This is a update to the fire service district between Fairview and Williamson County. They recently met Fairview Volunteer Fire Department and the Williamson County Rescue Squad Station 21, and they agreed to this map that's attached to this resolution.
All right. Any questions? I see none. If you're in favor of Resolution 1011-13, push the yes button. Opposed, your no button. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
22 yes.
Resolution passes. Resolution 1011-14, resolution authorizing the county mayor to execute an automatic aid agreement with the city of Franklin and the Williamson County Rescue Squad Incorporated. Commissioner Williams.
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Brockman, the second. Law Enforcement Committee.
6-4-0 against.
Budget Committee. 5-4.
I'm sorry.
All right.
I was searching for something else.
Explanation, Commissioner Williams.
Yes, this is a joint emergency dispatch response between the City of Franklin and Williamson County. The main purpose is that greater initial response force to target hazards within a shorter period of time by both Williamson County and the City of Franklin.
All right. Any discussion? Commissioner Danner?
How long does the agreement last?
All right,
How long does the agreement last?
as long as the agreement lasts until it's repealed.
Okay, my understanding was Franklin only extended theirs 6 months when they voted on this, so
Ask the county
I
mayor.
wanna make sure we're going out beyond that.
As we discussed the other night at the budget committee, the Board of Mayor and Alderman Franklin have agreed to a 6-month renewal with them.
Any other discussion? I see none. Ready to vote? 10, 11, 14. If you're in favor, push the yes button. Opposed, your no button. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
22 yes.
Resolution passes. Resolution 10, 11, 16. Resolution amending the rules, regulations, and procedures of the Williamson County Board of Commissioners concerning Rule 5.3. Commissioner Cook?
Move for approval.
Commissioner Wilson, the second. Rules Committee,
6-4-0 against.
explanation, Commissioner Cook.
This is about the roll call vote. Any motion may be made by the Board of Commissioners for a voice vote by the chair. And any commissioner can say that they don't want the voice vote, they want a roll call. And during the roll call, you can, when they call your name, you could vote or you could abstain. And after everyone else voted, they go back to the people who abstained. And then if we use the machine, you'll be asked, after the vote is shown on our board, whether you can, you want to change your vote or not. And, but no other votes can be changed after the results are officially requested or resolved by either the board chairman or the clerk.
All right. Any discussion? I see none. You ready to vote? Resolution 10, 11, 16. Oh. No question? All right. Resolution 10, 11, 16. If you're in favor, push the yes button. Opposed, your no button. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
22 yes.
Resolution passes. Resolution 10, 11, 17. Resolution amending the rules, regulations, and procedures of the Williamson County Board of Commissioners concerning Rule 4.1. Commissioner Cook?
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Little, the second. Rules Committee?
6-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Cook.
This one is, anytime we have a resolution come up, if we need further discussion from the different departments, the chairperson can call it up, or one of the commissioners can ask the chair to call that person up. And we usually have a 15-minute when people come to address, and this resolution will say that we won't have any time limit on how long the person comes up to speak from our different departments.
Any discussion? Commissioner Williams?
Commissioner, I wasn't present in this. We just given a blank and open period of time, somebody come up here and just.
Well, no, it would only be a department head or someone we would call up
If we,
for further.
yeah, if I may, if we were discussing something and called the sheriff up, unbeknownst to me, the rules were he only had 3 minutes to speak. So now he can talk as long as we need him to talk. Is that correct? Is it?
Well, as long as
Yeah.
there's questions
Yeah.
from the commissioners.
Exactly, yeah. So,
Can we call for questions at any time?
Anytime you want.
we can get a second. All right. We're ready to vote. Resolution 10, 11, 17. In favor, push the yes button. Opposed, your no button. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote.
Commissioner Jones.
Oh, there we go. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
Commissioner Cook.
Oh, Commissioner Cook. There we go.
22
22.
yes.
Resolution 10, 11, 18. Resolution amending the rules, regulations, and procedures of the Williamson County Board of Commissioners concerning Rule 8.1. Commissioner Cook?
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Little, the second. Rules Committee?
6-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Cook.
This is basically telling everybody what the order of people who would be the chairperson if the chairperson wasn't available or the vice chair wasn't available. And if none of them are present, then a member can come and start the meeting and then ask for a vote to nominate someone, one of the commissioners, to be the chair until the board chair arrives.
Okay.
And it only lasts for the end of the meeting if they have to do the whole meeting.
All right. Any questions? I see none. If you're in favor of Resolution 10, 11, 18, push the yes button. Opposed, your no button. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
22 yes.
Resolution passes. Resolution 10, 11, 20. Resolution authorizing the Williamson County Mayor to execute a project agreement with the State of Tennessee Department of Transportation. Commissioner Bain?
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Little, the second. Highway Commission, is that 5-4-0 again? Budget Committee,
5-4-0 again.
explanation, Commissioner Bain.
This is for installation and maintenance of safety improvements with the PDOT.
All right. Any questions? Commissioner Ryan?
Chairman, Commissioner Bain, in terms of, and you'll have to excuse my ignorance with this, but how is it currently handled? Because my understanding is that we're now being asked to handle the costs of PDOT signs and whatnot. Is this a change in policy?
Mayor, we
Commissioner, this work will be done out on Arno Road. They'll be putting in guardrails, striping. The need is for it out there. As you know, Arno Road is not a state route, and the state of Tennessee has offered to do this work. No cost to us. It's just a matter of us signing an agreement that they'll do it, and we would maintain that. There is no in-kind, in-like money on this particular road.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Green?
Yeah, on the snowmobile, anyway. Plowable.
Snowmobile.
The state just installed markers all down Nolensville Road to the city of Nolensville. When the snow comes and the plows come, the markers are gone because they're above grade. They're the same ones that they're going to install. I don't understand how you can put one that the snow plow can go over. You usually stick them in the ground, and they're only reflective in one direction. So you got to go both ways. I don't. The state didn't do a good job with Nolensville as far as the snow plow goes. That's my question.
I don't have an answer, Commissioner. They've offered to do the work. They've offered to do, and would not cost us anything. There are at least two types that I know of, reflectors that you put in the roads or on the boundary side of the road. So when the plows do come over, but I seriously doubt they last any great deal of time.
The snow maybe it won't come, but anyway.
Just hopefully they'll come and plow.
Yeah.
So. All right, you ready to vote? Any other questions? If you're in favor of Resolution 10, 11, 20, push your yes button. Opposed, your no button. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
22 yes.
Resolution passes. Resolution 10, 11, 25, resolution adopting debt management policies for Williamson County, Tennessee. Commissioner Bain.
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Williams. Tax Study Committee.
4-0 against.
Thank you, Commissioner Ford. Purchasing and Insurance Committee.
Purchasing insurance, 540 again.
Thank you, Commissioner Williams. Budget Committee.
5-4-0 again.
Explanation, Commissioner Bain.
This is something that is now required by the state. We have been doing this, but without a written policy, and this is our first written policy. Mr. Coleman, are you still with us? I think you wrote this.
Moment to recognize Sam Cruz with Stevens Incorporated and Jeff Oldham with Bassberry and Sims. They're both in the back of the auditorium. They stand up. They were very instrumental in helping us to draft this policy. We used the state guidelines as well as CTAS guidelines, and then information from all of us at our office, and Sam and Jeff put this together. And I think it's probably going to end up being kind of a model policy that other counties may be looking at that are going to have to do the same thing. As Commissioner Bain said, really nothing new here. These are things we've been doing, guidelines we've been following over the years, but now this is required by the state that you have a written policy by January the 1st, and so this will meet that recommendation. If you have any really technical questions, I've got the guys in the back to answer.
Any questions, Commissioner Williams?
Mr. Coleman, we had the Purchasing Insurance Committee. I think you pretty well summed it up. This document was put together by the state, CTAS, and Bond County.
Correct.
Can you just give us, for the public, what makes it a model? Why do you think it's going to be a model for the rest of us?
Well, I think the main thing is the timing of it. Everybody's required to do one, and we've been working on this one for several months. I think when it gets out there that the same thing I'd be doing, I'd be looking at other counties to see what they've done to get ideas. That's what I meant by that. And I think it includes all of the requirements that the state has asked for, plus some additional information. Hopefully, and we will have to submit it to them for their approval.
Follow up, Commissioner Bain. Commissioner Ryan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Coleman, I appreciate the amount of work that it took to put this together. I think this is a good thing, and I will certainly be supporting it, knowing that we already do most of the topics that are in here. My understanding is this is a non-binding policy. Is that correct? In terms of that if the county commission does not follow it, that will still be issued.
It is a policy, and in fact, it's not a law. So it's a policy we will follow, but it will be your policy. And so as far as internally, we'll be bound to follow it. And the state will be looking to us to see that we are following it. Now, what the legal ramifications are if we don't, I'm not sure that I can answer. We'll see if Jeff can give you a good legal answer. I bet he can.
I'm Jeff Oldham at Bassberry and Sims. It's I guess a couple of answers to your question. The first is the state has mandated that certain things be in this policy. So those things have to be adopted by you guys. If you wanted to change it in the future, you really couldn't, as long as the state has mandated. Those are just a handful. Beyond that, it is policy that you're adopting that you're choosing. And so if this board chose to go a different direction at a later date on those other things, you can certainly do that.
Mr. Chairman, if I may follow up.
Follow up.
Yeah, as I was mentioning, Mr. Coleman, I do appreciate the amount of work that went into this. I'm disappointed that there is not a debt limit or a debt cap that's placed on this. I certainly hope it's something that we can approach once again as a county commission in the years to follow. But I do appreciate the work, and I certainly hope that's something that, that this board will eventually consider. Thank you.
Any further questions? I see none. You ready to vote? Resolution 10-11-25. If you're in favor, push the yes button. Opposed, your no button. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
22 yes.
Resolution passes. Resolution 10-11-26. Resolution of the Williamson County Board of Commissioners to confirm and finalize a special assessment district for the Meadow Green grassland area for construction of the sanitary sewer pipeline collection system. Commissioner Davis?
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Brockman, the second. I can't find the end of it. Just put committees to it go. Okay. There we go. All right. Wastewater Authority, and that was unanimous. I don't remember what that was. 5-4-0 against, okay. Budget Committee
5-4-0 against.
and Tax Study Committee.
4-4-0 against, as amended.
All right, explanation, Commissioner Davis.
As it indicates here, we're setting up a special assessment district in the grassland area for those residents that will benefit from the new sewer system we just installed. They have to pay for it. That would make it fair to all the other taxpayers. So setting up a special assessment district does that, and they will have to pay the county back for the cost of the system in the ground. But let me add to that, it's not just the cost you see here. There'll be a huge additional cost to each homeowner to actually tie into the sewer system, which is incumbent upon each household. And after 84 months, they're going to pay for the sewer whether they tie on or not. But that's the only thing. That's the only way to do this to make it fair. We just need to set up a way, and Joey Davis was kind enough to step up to the plate and set up a system charge. So we're ready to go now.
Very good. Commissioner Williams? Commissioner Brockman, I know you weren't able to sign it, but you've been well involved in this project.
I would encourage you to support it. It has been a long effort, and now that it's in place, it's important that we set this up. We have allowed for a monthly payment.
And likewise, I encourage you to support it. This has been about 12 years in the making, and it finishes tonight. So, any questions?
Mr. Chairman, do you have an amendment for this?
Oh, okay. You want to make that?
I'd like to offer an amendment, which is on your desk in your packet, to change the final total. Changes it in two places, and this is involving the total cost of the system that the county paid for and then will be reimbursed for, and then also the amount that divides out to about 450, which is the number of households affected by this. The amendment on your desk is what I'm offering, which changes the total cost, adjusted rather, to $1,709,775.10. And then I'll break out to the cost per household to $3,799.50. I'll offer that amendment.
Proper motion. Is there a second? Commissioner Williams, a second. Any discussion? I see none. You ready to vote on the amendment? In favor of the amendment, push your yes button. Opposed, your no button. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record. Commissioner Cook? Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
21 yes, 1 no.
All right. Resolution, the amendment passes. Now we're back to the main resolution, Resolution 10-11-26. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Barnwell?
Yes, I understand that as a result of what we're doing tonight, that the residents are not picking up the total cost of this. I'd like that in the minutes so people know that this project is partially being funded by other taxpayers in this county.
All right. Any other discussion? See none, you ready to vote? Resolution 10-11-26 as amended. If you're in favor, push the yes button. Opposed, your no button. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
21 yes, 1 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 10-11-28, a resolution approving the plan of reapportionment districting for the Williamson County Board of Commissioners.
Move for approval.
Proper motion. Second. Commissioner Ryan, the second. Redistricting committee was 6-4-0 against. Budget committee.
5-4-0 against.
No.
I'm sorry, 4-4-0 against.
All right.
One missing, didn't
Rogers passed.
and one passed. That's right.
One passed. All right. I was the chairman of this redistricting committee, and I could speak to it from the chair, or I can step down.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Could I move that we suspend the rules for this particular resolution so you can participate in this discussion without removing yourself from the chair?
Second.
Okay. Well, all in favor of suspending the rules signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Thank you. So,
Mr. Chairman,
yes.
I'd like to make an amendment.
All right.
Ms. Hayes has given each of us a letter, but since she's one of the commissioners that's being affected by this a lot, at the last redistricting meeting, she said she'd like to be on the record. So I'm going to make a motion that we defer this amendment to the November meeting so that Ms. Hayes and any other commissioners that are not here can be on record with this redistricting resolution.
Second.
Proper motion. Is there a second? Commissioner Williams, a second. All right. So, yes, so the motion's to defer.
Just to defer.
Yeah.
Not to table or anything.
Till November.
Yes.
And is there discussion on that? So, do we have discussion on the deferment?
We're cutting it precariously close if we wait till November.
Yeah, it's by law, it's got to be done by January.
And I think she's accepted the fact that, I mean, she was in this, she participated directly in this as to where she wanted to be.
She told me she'd like to be on the record. Unless I'm just telling what she said.
What did the letter say?
Yeah, just what the letter said.
You got the letter in your
Letter
packet.
said she wanted to be on the record.
And
Send the letter.
I'll read the letter. Addressed to the Williamson County Commission. Dear friends, I am sorry that I will not be present at the October 10th Commission meeting. I will be out of town for a national reunion planned several years ago, long before the planning for redistricting began. Since the many wonderful communities I now represent have been like home to me and the residents like family, I am very disappointed to be out of their district in the new plan. Although this is a personal loss, I do understand that the large growth in the area does make a change necessary. I am confident that this area will be well represented by Commissioners Herbert and Hester, and that the desired community identity can and will be maintained. I also agree that Spring Hill's rapid and great growth makes it only right that they should have their own district. Thank you for the great attention and concern you have shown me during this redistricting process. It has not been easy, and most of us have had to make sacrifices. It is a pleasure serving with you, and I look forward to the next 3 years in our current districts. Let us all work together to make great accomplishments for our citizens in our county. Sincerely, Judy Hayes. So, are we back?
I'm assuming it will be, but I move that be part of the record if it's not.
Yes, it should be. So, motion to defer. Any further discussion?
Oh, I have a question. I know we've gone over this in our redistricting, and I was on that committee also. Do you think we ought to say for the record, so that people will understand that we had to come up with an X number of 15,270-ish either way for each district? And when you have a 44% growth in that 10-year period, that unfortunately put us, I think Commissioner Hayes said it appropriately, it gave some of us, some areas that we had to sacrifice. And I certainly understand Commissioner Hayes's, but this was an extra sheet that you had here. I didn't know if we needed to have this for the record as it breaks it down.
I think it would be in the record, would it not? I mean, yeah, okay. Yeah.
And if Dave Thomas would need to do any further explanation.
Well, right now, the motion to
Just
defer
Okay.
is on there.
Okay.
So, you ready to vote on the motion to defer? In favor of deferring it to the November meeting, push your yes button. Opposed, your no button. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
7 yes,
15
15
no.
no.
So we're back to the original resolution 10-11-28. Any discussion on that as presented?
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Barnwell?
Yes, I would like to state, after discussing with council, that what we're voting on is actually the line-specific maps related to this. There's a legal description attached. There's some hiccups in the legal description that will be changed to reflect the actual maps as they have been put together by Mr. Hewitt after we get through with this process.
Okay, thank you. Correct. Anything legally we need to add? Okay. Are we ready to vote?
Mr. Chairman, real quick, if I may, if I understand. So if there's mistakes in the wording,
the legal document is the map.
as far as like where it describes the lines,
that's
if
a
there's
follow
mistakes in there, then that's not an issue.
No, they'll be changed.
Okay, thank you.
This has to be sent to the state for their
Correct.
approval, and we'll get any discrepancies cleaned up by then. Any further discussion? I see none. You ready to vote? All in favor of resolution 10-11-28, push your yes button. Opposed, your no button. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
21 yes, 1 no.
1 no. I'd just like to thank the committee that worked on this. I'd really like to thank Perry Parrott. I know he's done a lot on that, and I never dreamed it would be as much work when we started as it did when we ended up. So, again, thanks to everybody for that, and we got her done. Resolution 10-11-29, resolution making corrections in assessments for 2009 taxes. Commissioner Bain.
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Little, the second. Tax Study Committee.
4-4-0 against.
Budget Committee.
5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Commissioner Bain.
Mr. Davis, are you still with us?
Chairman, this is simply something we do every year, that the assessor makes changes to the tax roll once you get to the trustee. And if you have that piece of paper in front of you, you can see where the beginning 2009 tax roll was $173 million. The public utility roll added $5.5 million to that. And then throughout the year, the assessor picked up $2,092,000 in changes and deleted $864,380, and that made a total aggregate of for
2009, $180.5 million, $180.6 million. The changes throughout the year are simply coded by that change. If you went to this page here that's got all the codes on it, that would explain to you what each one is, rather than we used to give you reams of paper. This kind of simplified it a little bit. Are there any other questions I can answer for you? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Any discussion, further discussion? I see none. You ready to vote? All in favor of 10, 11, 29? In favor, push the yes button. Opposed, your no button. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
22 yes.
Resolution passes. Also, I forgot to mention, we have a guest here from University of Tennessee Institute of Public Service, Mr. Don Johnson. If you're here, if you'd stand, thank you for being here. And as they say, it's not pretty when sausage is being made. But oh, okay. I'm sorry. He's got copies of county handbooks and bags here. If you haven't already gotten one, please take one. And again, thank you for coming, and we're glad to have you. You're welcome anytime. Also want to thank Arlene Cook for the goodie bags. I'm sure you're responsible.
Yes.
And appreciate that, Commissioner Barnwell.
Yeah, I'd just like to announce for the public also is that on October 20th at 4 o'clock at the library, Senator Jack Johnson and Representative Glenn Castle and Charles Sargent will be on hand to present a resolution honoring Janice Keck's 32 years of library service to the community. As you realize, she passed away earlier this year. And this is a little event to honor her at the library. Anybody wishing to attend is open to the public.
Okay, very good. Thank you. And I also publicly want to thank Joey Davis for helping us on this sewer thing. It's saved the people a lot of money, and I really appreciate it. Thanks to all the work. As I say, it started some 10 or 12 years ago, and we got it done. And I could go on forever and thank a lot of people, but I really appreciate it. Thank you. No further business. I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Hello.